tri-state area. You're listening to 620. Pittsburgh.
The Veterans Report is sponsored by James Cannon.
In my line of work, you got to keep repeating things over and over and over again for the truth to sink in, to kind of catapult the propaganda.
7 years of college down the drain.
I'm sorry, but all questions must be submitted in writing.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Welcome to the Veterans Report, the region's only show dedicated to those who have served our country. We have the latest news and information on resources available to veterans, including health care, education, employment tips, local volunteer organizations, and more. To those who have served, those who are serving, and to those who will, we salute you. And now, the host of the Veterans Report, Jim Cannon.
Hey, welcome back to the Veterans Report. Thanks for tuning in. And welcome back to the Veterans Report. We appreciate you joining us today. Man, we have a lot of news. We have an awesome guest at the halfway mark. We are going to be speaking with, at the halfway point, we're going to be speaking with Earl Benjamin, who is the president and CEO of Valorous TV. They are a new digital online provider of primarily video content, so movies, different programming. But I'm not gonna get too far in the weeds on that. I'm gonna let Earl walk through what they offer, what they provide, how you can get it, where to get it, what they're doing. They're a brand new endeavor, and again, online, subscription-based, but Valorous TV, and they cater primarily to first responders, military, and vets. General interest, but that's sort of their target audience. But so stick around. It's going to be a great conversation, and you'll get some really awesome information on everything they offer and provide. And the way things are going with video and cable, I mean, this is a good time to do this, right? This is a good time to start looking into other options. So we want to let you know, if you want to send an email, if you want to ping us, you can drop an email to editor@theveteransreport.com. You can check out the website at theveteransreport.com. You can hit us up on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and all of the shows are also in podcast format on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. Now, that's our stuff out of the way. We also want to say hello and thank you to our friends and partners at WTF Nation Radio. They have given us wings to soar. So it's been a lot of fun. I've gotten to know some really cool people, and they're doing a bang up job online. They're taking over the online radio world, and so if you haven't checked them out, go check them out, hit them up. But just a reminder again, we'll probably tee this up during the interview, but also go check out Valorous TV and hit them up as well. So they, like I said, they're brand new, so they're looking for some help, some support, some fans. But all right, so let's get to it. Oh, we also I want to take just a second here. I want to thank Matt Bergendahl from Stack Up. He was on last weekend. He was our guest last week, and great interview, good information. And Matt was very patient in terms of working out scheduling and coordinating. So we appreciate it. And Matt, thanks a lot. Matt Bergendahl is the director of suicide prevention at Stack Up, and they're doing a lot of work to help folks in need. So especially and Stack Up, for those of you who don't know, this all ties together, right? Everything's online. Stack Up is an organization that is rooted in online gaming, and they sort of seek out or work with or both veterans who are into online gaming and offer peer-to-peer support, peer-to-peer services. So I didn't want to fall short. I wanted to remind everybody of that because I think Matt's mission, I think Stack Up's mission is very important. And so check them out as well. If you're a gamer, you probably know about them already. And again, if somebody's having an issue, if it's you, if it's one of your online gaming friends, you can reach out to Stack Up, and they will help steer you in the right direction, get you some help, or get that individual some help. All right, now back up again. Now let's get to it. We got a bunch of news. So today, this is it's probably a little late, but today was wreaths. Is it wreaths or wreaths? I guess it would be wreaths across America. National Wreaths Across America Memorial Day from the organization Wreaths Across America. Today, close to 2 million wreaths at over 1,600 locations across the United States were laid at cemeteries. Veteran cemeteries. So and this effort is all volunteer. Totally volunteer effort. And so they laid wreaths, like I said, across the country, including Arlington National Cemetery, Pearl Harbor, the Memorial of Pearl Harbor, Ground Zero, like the 9/11 Ground Zero in New York, and Bunker Hill. Those were a couple of the locations. I know they did it locally here. There was some stuff on the news. There was stuff all over the Facebook and Twitter. Did I say the Facebook? I sound like it is the Facebook. Yeah. But they said they didn't have as many volunteers this year as they have in years past. And I don't know why, because it wasn't in years past. It's been when they've done this, whatever the date was. I know it's typically is it always on a Saturday? I don't remember, but it's been like biting cold for whatever reason. And this year, oh my God, I was running around in a T-shirt today, which I know for those of you in other states, not a big deal, right? Arizona, California, Texas, Florida. Up here in the Northeast, though, that is a big deal in December to be wearing a T-shirt outside. But it was almost muggy today, so I'm not sure why more people didn't come out, unless it has to do with PR, right? I didn't even know about this thing until a couple of years ago. They've been around. This group has been around since 1992. Wreaths Across America. Since 1992, and like I said, I found out about them. Oh gosh, 3 years ago, I think. Maybe it was 3 years. 2 years. So that might have a lot to do with the lack of participation. Is a lot of folks still don't know about it. So any of you intrepid PR flacks out there who are looking to maybe lend some of your time on a volunteer basis, check out Wreaths Across America. Again, I mean, this was I think I read somewhere that National Wreaths Across America Memorial Day it was supported by the U.S. Senate, or they passed a bill on this to actually to ratify this day or to name this day. So, I mean, it's a big deal, you know. It's a national thing, but, again, if nobody knows about it, then it makes it tough to rope people in. So check it out. I mean, they have it every year. So hopefully they'll get some more participants by next year. The other cool thing, good story here, positive feel-good story. Gary Sinise. I'm sure a lot of you know who Gary Sinise is, the actor. He played Lieutenant Dan in Forrest Gump. He was in The Right Stuff. He was in the movie with Mel Gibson, where Gary Sinise was one of the kidnappers. I don't remember the name. That wasn't Taken, was it? I don't remember. But anyway, if you don't know who Gary Sinise is, go Google him, and you will. And he has a TV show now, doesn't he? Or did for a number of years. And Gary Sinise has his own foundation. It's a nonprofit, and he works toward helping veterans and families of veterans. And he's given a lot of time over the last 15, 20 years, including going overseas and playing in his band, the Lieutenant Dan Band. So he's been a volunteer nonstop for well over a decade. So his foundation, the Gary Sinise Foundation, recently sent more than 600 Gold Star families to Disney World this month. Sinise made the announcement on Twitter with a picture of parents and children on a plane headed for the amusement park. Over 1,000 Gold Star children travel with the surviving parent, 1,750 in all, via American Airlines to Disney World today as part of our Snowball Express program. The charter left LAX this morning. I'll join up in a few days. Have fun, kids. We love you, he wrote. And the Gary Sinise Foundation posted photos of the children having fun at the, quote, most magical place on earth with their families. The foundation launched the program last year, which helps serve the children of fallen military heroes. So that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. And, Gary Sinise has also been in the news recently. This is an aside. Time Magazine every year comes out with their Person of the Year, right? Well, Patricia Heaton, who played Ray Romano's wife on Everybody Loves Raymond, put this out, I don't know, a week ago or a week and a half ago that, hey, Time, why isn't Gary Sinise ever on the Person of the Year list? Why isn't he ever picked for the, I don't know who this is, Gene Herschelt Humanitarian Award? He raises $30 million a year to build homes for wounded vets, along with his Gold Star family's support. And she wanted everybody to retweet it. So he has fans everywhere, not just regular folks like us, but even other stars. Now, needless to say, he was not chosen for the Person of the Year on Time this year. They chose a bunch of journalists, half of whom nobody's ever heard of. But anyway, that was the aside for Gary Sinise. So he flew almost 2,000. Was it 2,000? Yeah, almost 2,000 kids from Gold Star families to Disney. So that is generosity. I hope they had fun. I personally can't stand Disney World, but I'm not a kid anymore either, so there's that. But they do serve beer now down at Epcot, which makes it, I think, more tolerable for the parents. So if you're going to bring your kid down there, carve out some time and demand that the kids go see Epcot. They'll have a good time. You'll have a good time. You'll get some beer. So here's one that you wouldn't expect. Here's the headline. Veterans on Patrol founder arrested for disorderly conduct and residential picketing. Michael Lewis Arthur Meyer was arrested yesterday, this was earlier this week, and booked into the Pima County Jail. The Pima County Sheriff's Department arrested the Veterans on Patrol leader for the misdemeanor charges of disorderly conduct and residential picketing, which has to do with picketing before a residence with the intent to harass. Meyer received national attention last spring when he claimed on social media that an abandoned homeless camp was actually used for child sex trafficking. which was never proven or followed up on. So Myers runs this. I remember this guy now. I couldn't remember where I heard that. I remember it now. It's clicking with me. So this guy runs like a sort of a neighborhood watch. And he took it upon himself to form it, called Veterans on Patrol. And it's, you know, it's like the, what were the guys in New York? Guardian Angels, right, with the red berets. It's modeled after that, right? So these guys, you know, they go in shifts. They walk around neighborhoods. They just monitor stuff that's going on. And so this guy, he was sort of the leader of that, but he just got arrested for disorderly conduct. And I know, so probably not wholly unexpected. I mean, guys like this tend to take it into their own hands, take it too far. So anyway, I thought that was kind of humorous. Another feel-good story for the holiday season. American Legion delivers Christmas bags to veterans in senior homes. For 13 years, the veterans at the American Legion in Bryan, that's in Texas, have been giving back to their own during the holidays. Hundreds of hours go into making homemade blankets every year. They're just one small part of the Christmas bags packed and delivered by veterans in the area. Every bag is filled with comfort items like shampoo, soap, and even snacks. More than 120 bags were hand-delivered from one vet to another on Thursday morning. Here's a quote. "I have no one to take care of me except my friends at the American Legion," said Carl Demush, a World War II and Korean War veteran. Demush lost his wife last year. He's 92 years old and says he doesn't have any family left. He's both getting a bag and delivering them too. The American Legion says any leftover items from the Christmas bags will go to the Twin City mission. So thank you, American Legion. The American Legion does a lot of stuff like that. So does the VFW. So does DAV. A lot of the larger VSOs, they have these initiatives, and across the country. But obviously, they rely on the local chapters to kick this stuff out on a regional basis. But yeah, I mean that's part and parcel to these groups, right? So you ask yourself, why should I join one of these groups? Why should I join the Legion or the VFW or the Marine Corps League or the what's the other one? The Navy League. It's Air Force Association. I mean, you can just go on and on and on. Why join it? Because it provides an opportunity. It lays in front of you an opportunity to give back. Now you can do it on your own, right? It's easy to stroke a check and go drop it in the mail. I mean, I get it, right? It's a time thing, but these groups do this stuff nonstop. They don't always make headlines. I mean, it's every now and then, right? So you hear a story like this, 120 gift bags. I guarantee there are chapters across the country doing the same exact thing, and they will get no ink, no press, right? No coverage. But that's not why you do it. You do it to give back. You do it to connect with your fellow vets. You do it because you are in a position to do it. So, I've often, I'm going off on a tangent here, I've often wondered what is the point of a lot of these groups, why join them? And I felt that way for years, and I've even belonged to some. I still belong to some of them. I'm not super active in them, but, I saw what they, participating in some of the meetings. I was in one for, must have been a year and a half actively, right, wearing the uniform, doing the thing, going to the meetings. They kept begging me to get into a leadership position. I didn't want to do it because at the time I could not commit. It took everything I had just to get to the meeting once a week at that time. And I would, going into it, I thought, man, these guys, what do they do? Walk around with their dumb hats, right, and their silly uniforms, and they can't let go. It's not like that. It's still a service organization, right? And the key word there is service. So you go to these groups, they do things like gift bags. They do things like the essay contest. I think that's the American Legion, right? They do the essay contest for middle school and high school kids every year. It's all based on patriotism, civics, and digging into what it means to be an American. That kind of, they drive that kind of stuff, right? They're the ones keeping the flames stoked on American pride and patriotism and the red, white, and blue. I mean, they're in the background doing that. And then especially around holidays, I mean, they go out of their way to help other vets. So it's just, and I'll stop prattling on here, but it is, if you're thinking about joining, think about a reason to do it. And if you aren't convinced yet, read a story like this and think, man, that would be, even if you're not super active, maybe you go to a meeting every 3 or 4 months, right? Stay on the roster. Dive in for something like this. Spend a day or two packing these bags and then dropping them off somewhere. Because the reward personally for you is something you cannot go out and purchase that. You can't generate that on your own. Right? It's weird, but it's like a symbiotic thing where you're reliant on people in need to generate this joy, right? This happiness that you get from helping other people. So anyway, I'll stop preaching, but just a good story. And keep in mind, again, chapters across the country don't get any press on this stuff. And they're doing it everywhere. So no matter where you're listening right now, you could join one of these groups and do things like this on a regular basis. Now, I was going to hammer the VA. I'm not going to hammer them, but I'm going to read a story. Nurse pleads guilty to stealing drugs from Denver VA. A registered nurse accused of stealing drugs from the Denver Veterans Affairs Hospital has pleaded guilty. 46-year-old Eric Lee Tombre pleaded guilty Wednesday to federal charges of acquiring and trying to obtain controlled substances by deception and subterfuge. There's a $10 word for you. According to the U.S. Department of Justice, a February 2017 audit showed unusual and unaccounted-for drug withdrawals from the hospital's automated dispensing system, which requires staff to enter login information to take out drugs. The system documented an instance where Tombre withdrew hydromorphone. Hydromorphone? Is that right? Morphone? For the same patient 3 times in 1 hour. He told authorities he had diverted drugs over a few years and used the hydromorphone and fentanyl he stole. He is scheduled to be sentenced in April. Now, that one isn't necessarily on the VA, but anything with a VA headline where it's negative, it's not a surprise anymore. Not a surprise, which is sad. Yeah. So, what time we got? Got to watch the clock, guys. Got to watch the clock here. Where am I? Oh, so the big story for the week. And if you have time, I suggest that you dig into this. So the headline is, VA hospitals, often the best option for medical care, study finds. Okay, let me say that again. For those of you who are part of the VA system, VA hospitals, often the best option for medical care, study finds. That headline was from the Military Times, but all of the headlines about this study basically said the same thing. So let me read a little bit, and then I'm going to tell you where this is. Veterans Affairs officials are touting a new study praising VA hospitals for outperforming most private sector medical options. But, here's the but rejecting the author's conclusions that the findings undermine the administration's support for shifting more veterans care into the private sector. And think about what I just said, right? So the VA is all excited about this study, but they're also saying it does nothing to dispel the notion that more private care, that they should shift more veterans care into the private sector. That came from the VA, right? The study, conducted by Dartmouth College researchers and published in the Annals of Internal Medicine this week, looked at 121 regional markets with at least one VA facility. Let me scroll down. And found the department-run medical center provided better care than private options in most cases. In only a few cases, VA was the least desirable option for most patients. VA hospitals were frequently, and this was a stunner, VA hospitals were frequently the best option for patients in treating heart ailments and pneumonia. The study also rated more than half of the VA hospitals reviewed as the best local option for death rates among patients with surgery complications and treatment of bloodstream infections after surgery. In a statement, VA Secretary Robert Wilkie hailed the findings as proof that the VA system is delivering, quote, the very best quality of care that veterans have earned through their faithful service to our country. But in a press release lauding the study, VA officials also attacked authors' analysis that questions whether expanding more access to private sector physicians for veterans will produce better health care for the population. Now, they're saying that the study was conducted by Dartmouth College researchers, but it was funded by, and I had the acronym too. It was funded by, forgive me on this. I don't want to sound like a complete ignoramus, but it was something like the Committee on Medicare and Medicaid Investigation Studies, or so. It was some weird acronym with a weird name attached to it. It has to do with Medicare and Medicaid, and it's a federal agency. All right, so you had a federal agency, not an agency. Well, yeah, I guess it would be an agency, a federal agency funding a study on another federal agency, and then patting them on the back and saying, "Man, you guys are great. You guys are great. You're awesome." Now, here's the other part. They didn't release the whole study. You actually have to follow the link. And that this news story, again, was in the Military Times. It's also on the veteransreport.com website. Okay? In the story, like 2 or 3 paragraphs into it, there's a link. There's a hyperlink. You click on that, and you scroll down, and it says, get full text. Then you have to set up an account. Okay? Again, federal agency funding a study on another federal agency, congratulating that federal agency on doing great, and then not releasing the study. You have to sign up and you have to set up an account to read it. That is unacceptable. These are tax dollars that they're using. No, and to answer the question, I have no idea if they interviewed civilians, because, again, I can't read the study. And they whittled it down to 121 markets where there was both a VA facility and a private sector facility. So those were the markets they looked at. And in the majority of those cases, they're claiming that the VA offered better care. Again, I don't know where it was, because they didn't release the study to the public. They released a couple of press releases, which is asinine. So if you want, follow the link. You can set up an account through the whatever it is, the Annals of Internal Medicine, and you can pull the full text of the study in PDF format. But I read this headline and I was floored. And then when I read the actual story, man, that's ridiculous. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think they did surveys. I don't think they surveyed people. They went in and just did studies, right? And they pulled data. They pulled metrics from these facilities. So it wasn't so much a fill in the bubble. Here's a survey and send it back to us. It was we're going to go in and pull metrics, right? And then compare what we think is apples to apples, VA versus private sector, or VHA, I should say, Veterans Health Administration. So anyway, if you want, you can set up the account. You can pull the study. I didn't do it because I thought that was ridiculous. So I'm actually going to try to get a hard copy of it at some point and then post the full text on the website. Because guess what? We paid for it. We should be able to read it. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to be speaking with Earl Benjamin of Valorous TV. So hang in there. If you want to keep up with the latest in veteran news away from the... Welcome back to the Veterans Report. Thanks for hanging in there. As promised, we have on the line our guest today. We have Earl Benjamin, the president and CEO of Valorous Media. Earl, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Jim. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir, and thanks for coming on. I know your time is valuable because you are busy building a sort of a new media empire here, and we're excited because, having gone through what you're doing and what you offer, it's exciting it's going to be exciting for all the vets listening out there in our audience. So if you could, I know we brought you on to talk about Valorous TV. So if you could sort of walk through what is Valorous TV, what does that mean?
Well, Valorous TV is from our company, Valorous Media, and Valorous TV is a new digital streaming television service. So I know most of your listeners are familiar with Netflix and Hulu and those type of services. We're kind of like a mini Netflix, if you will, very, very mini, because we're pretty new. We've only been out a few months, but our mission is much different than the big boys like Netflix. We tailor our programming to what we call the home of the heroes. We're trying to bring out good TV to appeal to an audience with good content, entertaining, but also good, and most importantly, we want to honor the people that we feel deserve to be honored much more than they have been in the past, and that's our great veterans, our military, our firefighters, our police, and all of our lifesavers, who are the true heroes. And so we offer a large variety of programming dedicated to that goal. We have over 1,500 programs on our new site, and it's growing every day as we continue to add to it. So we're very, very excited to bring this out.
Oh no, this is really cool stuff, and it's gonna it's gonna beat the pants off of anything that's out there because it's the content is amazing. So what, just as an aside, what is your background, Earl? I mean, are you from law enforcement? Are you from military?
Well, oddly enough, I'm not from military. My family is. My dad was a fighter pilot in World War II, and my uncle was a fighter pilot in the Navy. So I have a bit of a military background. But I wanted to be a pilot like my dad growing up, but my eyesight was so bad that I couldn't do it. So my dad said, "No, you're going to law school." So that's where I went. I became a lawyer and practiced law for a while and got into the entertainment business and did that for a good number of years, over 20 years. And at some point decided that there was something missing. And being in the entertainment business, the distribution of motion picture content and production of content, it seemed like a natural that Valorous TV was something that had to be done and should be done, and so that's how we ended up at Valorous TV.
Oh, that's an amazing route for you to follow. So why online digital content as opposed to, I mean, I think I know the answer, but as opposed to traditional cable?
Well, as you probably know, traditional cable is dying very rapidly in what they call cord cutters, who are cutting their cords every day to get to a different type of, more economical type of content, and also a delivery system that the subscriber or the customer or the consumer gets to choose what they want to watch, not what a network programmer tells them they should watch at a particular time. So you have great freedom in the digital streaming space. As you may be familiar with Netflix, you can pick when you want to watch it, what you want to watch, and you have no commercials. So, and it's much more cost effective than traditional cable. So, and the delivery system is great. The product is great. The viewing quality is fantastic. The only problem with those big Netflixes and Hulus is they don't offer the type of content that we offer, and that's where Valorous comes in.
So before because I want to get into the content, because like I said, having sort of cyber stalked your website for a while, there's some really cool stuff on there. But before we get into that, and you mentioned the delivery system, how do people access this? Is it available solely on, is it through computer? Is it smartphones? Is it tablets? Is it everything?
Well, it is everything. It's through the internet in ValoروusTV.com. You can go on your browser and search that, and it'll come right up. On the other hand, there's also what we call set-top boxes that some people have. Roku is one you're probably familiar with, and Amazon Fire Stick. We're on both of those systems. So if you search Roku or Amazon Fire for Valorous TV, you'll find us there as well.
Oh, wow. Okay, so this is pretty much across the board. So whoever has that sort of technical expertise in those various areas, they can pick this up. That's
yeah, absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah, we're going to be adding more of those platforms in the future. We'll be adding Apple and Samsung and Sling and so forth. But we have the major ones right now, which is Roku and Amazon Fire.
Oh, that's awesome. I know those things are catching on like crazy too. So now, and again, we'll get to the content, but I understand, because I think this is important to point out. We cover a lot of nonprofits here. We cover a lot of, philanthropic efforts. A portion of every subscription for Valorous TV goes to various nonprofits that assist the military veteran community. Can you tick off just a few of those groups?
Yes, we have an arrangement with the VFW, and we also have a partnership with the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation, and also the Salvation Army. We support that as well. So we try to cover different types of charities, and there's more that we're talking to and be adding in the future as well.
Oh, that's great, and thank you for doing that. That is meaningful to a lot of vets out there. So that's good stuff.
Well, it's important. It's part of what we want to do. We want to give support to these people who are important to respect and honor. So in addition to providing good content, we want to be able to give some money back as well.
So I keep saying we'll talk about content. We'll just get into it. So there's a variety of offerings. Some with and some without a central military theme. For example, I picked up on the Jesse Owens story that's on there. You have some stuff on wildland firefighters. You just mentioned the Fallen Firefighters Fund. You also offer TV classics. So let's talk about some of your other offerings. What else is out there? What do you think would draw people in?
Well, we found that there's a lot of veterans who are motorcycle enthusiasts. That's a great hobby. I have a motorcycle myself, so I love to ride, and so that's something that we put in there for their entertainment, because we don't want to be just a history channel. We don't want to be just an education channel, although we have a lot of very, very great historical and education materials. It's also about entertaining you, so that you can be entertained as well. So if you watch some great programming that you find to be very historical and educational, you may get tired of that and you want to watch a movie. And so we have features too. But the central theme is, it comes back to being good content. So we don't want to get into all the nasty stuff that you can get on Netflix and other places. That's not what we're about. But we are about trying to provide an entertainment form as well as meet the other objectives that we're trying to meet. So it's broad-based for that reason. We even have some comedy on there, some classic comedy like Groucho Marx and Three Stooges. So if you want to have a laugh, you can go and find that as well. So we try to have a broad spectrum to provide, like I say, entertainment as well at a reasonable price.
Well, is the intent, based on that statement, is the intent in the future to go even broader, like be all things to all people, or is your intention to sort of find that niche and then be the top choice within that market?
Well, we don't want to be all things to all people. That's what Netflix is doing, and there's been $150 billion a year doing it. And
sure,
that's good for them, but that's not what we're about. We truly are a niche channel that we're looking to an audience of people who appreciate military and police and firefighters, etc., and that type of programming to learn from that. But like I say, we also want to be broad enough that we can provide other entertainment as well. So that's not our central goal. It's just we provide that as part of our service of trying to be broad-based for those people. So we try to find out what do veterans like, what do they want to watch, so that we can give them what's important from the standpoint of the veteran community, but also provide them with something that they find entertaining.
Well, and I want to note for the audience that a lot of this stuff, it's not, and I'm not knocking the other stations out there. I'm definitely not knocking like the History Channel. I love the History Channel, but a lot of their stuff is very dated. I do want to note that the stuff on your the offerings on your channel, a lot of them are brand new, right?
Yeah, we also develop our own programming. We provide programming that you can see on there that is stuff that was produced by Valorous. So living history, things of that nature, we film those, produce those, and put those up ourselves. ourselves, so they are exclusive and unique to only Valorous. And we'll be doing more of those in the future. We're working with firefighters right now on a new documentary for them, and we're working on a new Air Force special as well called Aim High, which we're working on right now. So it's in development, so it's a ways down the road, but that kind of stuff will be coming in the future. More of that type of content is very important to us.
Okay, yeah, because that was another question I had, whether or not you produce original content. So now you're headquartered out in California, right?
Yeah, we're in Glendale, California, which is just L.A. So we're out here in the entertainment industry. So that's our central headquarters.
So clearly you have access to all of that, all the experts out there, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yes, indeed. Yeah. Well, and we distribute content as well and produce it, and so we're very much have a history of being in that business, and all the shows and so forth that we have to be attended to be a distributor in the motion picture industry.
So I saw something on there, and I have an interest in this from a personal standpoint. But you have a was it the Black Hawk Down?
Yes, that's one of our brand new productions that we just produced with Colonel Larson, and we just premiered it, brought it out, and it's got great reviews. We're really excited about Black Hawk Down, the untold story. It's untold because you recall the original movie was done, and then there was a documentary done, but they left out the 10th Mountain Division, which is very, very crucial and critical to the whole mission and what happened there. So that's all part of the new documentary we just did, Black Hawk Down, the untold story, and I'm sure a lot of your vets would love to see the untold story. It's very, very well done.
So you worked directly with some of the folks who were there?
Oh yeah. Yes, indeed. We worked with Colonel Larson, who was the main producer. Mm-hmm. In addition to that, many of the people who actually were involved in the mission as well. Brigadier General Bill David as well. So some of those folks are incredible people, great heroes and great patriots.
So is it tease this out just a little bit more? Is it a combination of like documentary narrative plus interviews, or is it strictly is it more of a like a feature film?
Well, it's more like a docudrama, I would say. It has interviews of the people I've just mentioned and more, and also there's footage in there as well. There's actually a very unique piece of footage from the battle that's never been seen before.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's really it's a very, very well done piece. We're very proud of it. Colonel Larson was incredible in producing this with us, and very proud of it.
So now that's available online right now, correct?
Yes, exclusively on Valorous. Yes.
Okay.
Only on Valorous.
So people can go in. So is that is it available only for subscribers, or can you do like a one-shot deal and pay to see it?
Well, it's only subscribers, but you when you sign up for Valorous, you do get a 1-week free subscription. So you could watch it and cancel if you're so inclined, but hopefully we'll catch you that you'll like our service and stay on. But you could do that as well.
All right. Just asking from the consumer standpoint.
It's a little trick that you could do, but I don't encourage it, of course.
Well, that's how you get them hooked.
That's right.
Get them in there.
But it's a great show, and I'm sure your audience would enjoy it very much.
No, that's great. I didn't know that about the unseen footage. I mean, that's intriguing. So I'm definitely going to check that out. So in terms of like everybody and their brother wants to be online, right? You have online channels, you have blogs, you have vlogs, you have podcasts. I mean, you name it, right? Everybody wants to be everything.
Right.
So you are now in a different realm. You're not traditional cable. You are online. You're digital. What do you think? I mean, obviously your niche, but what do you think, apart from your niche, is going to set you apart from other online channels? Is it the management style? Is it the vision? What do you think it is from your standpoint?
Well, I think it's the content, and I think some people have referred to us as what the History Channel used to be. The History Channel is not really much about history anymore, but we do provide that. I mean, if you're a student and you need to do a history report on the Vietnam War, the Korean War, or whatever, involving something in the military battles in the past, there's no better place to go than Valorous TV, because we have it all. We have categories on the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the World War I, World War II, going back to the Revolutionary War, Civil War. A lot of materials. Educational is very important, and so we think that we are unique in the sense that there's nobody else that is providing the type of content that we're providing. Even if you go to Netflix, you can find a few programs here and there on the military, but you can't find the wealth of materials that we have on Valorous, and we're only going to continue to grow that in the future.
No, and I encourage people, I keep saying, I encourage people to go to the website, because you'll just keep scrolling, and there's so much on there. It's something for everybody, whether you're a Vietnam buff, World War II, World War I, the modern era, again, law enforcement, first responders. I mean, it's there is some, it's replete with content. It's fantastic.
And the other thing that I would mention that a lot of people don't know about is that we provide a daily news source as well. We provide Department of Defense news that comes out from the DoD. We cull that and pick out things that are particularly important, we think are particularly important to our audience. And so if you follow that, you'll get kind of a daily briefing of important things that are going on. The DoD releases a lot of material on different things that are going around the world, and not many people pay attention to that, but we do. And we try to bring it and put it into a place where people can easily access it.
So is that also a part of the subscription?
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. We have Marine Minute on there, which is the Marines put out, which is a show that the Marines produce and distribute, and we put that up on Valorous, so you can easily access that as well. The daily news from the Air Force as well. All those kind of things that we make available to people. Otherwise, you'd have to search through your computer and try to find it. And we make it easily available to people.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, I didn't know that either. This is enlightening. So I'm glad.
We aim to enlighten.
Well, thank you. I need a lot more help in that arena. Now, Earl,
part of that is special reports. I mean, if you look on the site, you'll find Armed Services and Civilian Enforcement News, and there's different categories on there: the Marines, the Air Force, the Navy, as well as special reports that we put out on just important events around the world that are happening that you may not have caught in a couple of days, and so it'll catch you up on things that are happening that are going on around the world that are important to know about. We're not political. We don't pick a political party. We don't get into any of that stuff. That's not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to just present good content that's important to people and people should know about.
No, and we need more of that. I mean, we need less of the rhetoric and the shouting and more of just the straight facts and the people.
We don't want to get into any of that stuff. No, that opinion stuff is not important to us. That if you want to watch that, you can turn on CNN.
or any of the other 87 opinion.
Which I don't want to watch it anymore because I just can't take it. The nightly news, and that's one of the reasons we started this, because it's just it's ridiculous. You can't get good content anymore anywhere.
No, it's over the top. So let's talk about some other news. Tell me about an upcoming football game. I'm not going to steal your thunder.
Well, we're so excited and we're so proud to be part of the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl coming up December 22nd. We are a sponsor of it and a proud sponsor at that. So we're going to be there in our suite, and we're going to be supporting anybody who wins. But of course, Army is going to be there, and they've had a great year, a great run. And so we're just proud to be part of that whole thing and to support our military. So
now do you know how many total sponsors are going to be part of that? Or you're one of the top tier ones, right?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe 6 or 10 sponsors, maybe a dozen sponsors, something like that. But we're one of the major ones. Yeah, we're going to be. If you watch the game, you'll see us on the big screen. Hopefully it'll show on the big screen. We have some ads that'll be running and promos that'll be running. So it's going to be great. It's very, very exciting.
Oh, that's fantastic. I know that brings in a lot of viewers too.
Absolutely.
So that's in Fort Worth this year?
Yes.
I guess it always even
22nd, which is a week from Saturday.
Okay. Well, we'll be sure to tune in. I was going to mention the irony of an online station using conventional broadcasting to spread their message, but I won't. I'll let that one slide. You got to do what you got to do.
You got to get the word out. That's the one thing that's difficult, because we are a new service, and so we have a great site. We spent 2 years developing the technology for it and assembling the programming and doing all that stuff. And so now what we need is, we need eyeballs. We need people to support it and be subscribers. That's the hard part, because it's hard to get the word out. I mean, it's a crowded, as you mentioned, a crowded media space. There's a lot of media. And so to try to get people to pay attention to what we have is difficult. So that's why one of the reasons we're going to places like the Armed Services Bowl, to let people know who we are and what we're doing and what we're trying to do, and hopefully they will support us.
No, that's dead on. That's spot on in terms of pulling the right audience. So let's step out of this for a second, and let's talk about investment and funding for the channel. I know you have a lot going on. There was a recent announcement. Sort of walk me through that whole process and the most recent news.
Well, like I said a minute ago, we've worked hard for a number of years developing the site, and now we're out looking for subscribers and trying to spread the word and let people know what we're doing, and that takes money, to go out and advertise and do that kind of stuff. I know you know that. So one of the things we have to do is we have to raise some investment capital to go out and spread the word, and so we've turned to crowdfunding on a site called startengine.com to basically sell some stock in Valorous Media to people in order to raise money to support the channel, so we can get more subscribers. That's what it's all about right now, is getting more people to tune in.
Now that's a relatively recent initiative, right?
Yeah, we just in fact about 3 days ago, 2-3 days ago, we just went live on Start Engine, and so now we're hoping that we can attract some eyeballs there, so we can get some investors to join the team, so to speak, and help us get the word out through an advertising campaign that we want to start and really go aggressively to bring people's awareness up.
Oh, that's great. So what I mean, and I don't want to get too far in the weeds on this, because that's not what we're pushing here. But what are there different levels of investment? Are there different tiers for people to pay attention to?
It's not so much tiers. I don't think I'm allowed by the SEC to go into the details. The SEC sets out these rules and what you're supposed to abide by in terms of crowdfunding investments. But what I would do is I would encourage people to go to startengine.com and then search for Valorous Media, and you'll find the site, and it's got all the information about the company and the investment and what you can do and how to invest, and all that is all set forth there. It's very clear, and I would encourage people to do that. It's not a complicated. There's not tiers, or it's not a complicated mechanism. It's actually quite easy.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I just didn't know.
No, not at all. It's fine. It's just you have these rules in terms of crowdfunding, in terms of what you got to do and so forth. So we don't want to get anybody in trouble, including me.
It's tougher to do interviews with someone who's behind bars.
Yeah, right.
There's a few more hoops to jump through, but but something I know you can talk about is what the subscription.
Yes.
Are there different levels, or is it one set, just sort of one set program for subscribers?
We offer either a monthly subscription, which is $6.99 a month, and of course that comes with the 1 week free trial. And then secondly, we have an annual program, which is $69.99 a year, and when you buy that at $69.99, you get 2 free months.
Oh wow!
So it's either monthly or annual. It's very simple to sign up.
Well, you got to keep it simple, because there are a lot of former grunts out there who don't do math. So.
Well, including me, I don't want to get things too complicated either.
I understand. So, where do you see? I mean, real quick here, but what is the future of sort of entertainment? Clearly, it's heading more toward the digital and the cyber realm. But do you see things moving even further down the road? And if so, what do you think those would be? Where do you think this is all headed?
Well, I think you're going to see more streaming media companies like us that are going to be niche, because as big and powerful as a Netflix is, it can never be everything to everybody. It can't. It's impossible. And so people who want to have a particular service that has military content and things like Valorous, you're only going to find it on Valorous. People who want to watch stuff about, I don't know, knitting or, whatever, farming or whatever it may be, you're probably going to find a home there. There's a lot of faith-based streaming services out there right now. It's a very popular form as well. So there's going to be more of that, and the networks themselves are switching to that. You see ABC now is bringing out their own streaming service. HBO has their own streaming service. So you're seeing a lot of that, and you're going to see some of these set-top companies like Amazon trying to organize that further, because Amazon is huge, and they're competing with Netflix and Hulu and so forth. And so I think you're going to see some consolidation there through an Amazon, but in a much different form. It's going to be digital, but Amazon is going to offer customers all these different types of services. So you can go to Amazon Fire or wherever, and you're going to be able to get Valorous, you're going to be able to get HBO, you're going to be able to get whatever you want. In other words, it's going to be very consumer friendly. You're going to be able to pick like a shopping mall. You're going to be able to pick out what you like, and you're going to be able to have 3 or 4 services that are going to be more economical for you, because you'll pay 3 or 4 subscriptions, but it'll be much less than traditional cable. So that's kind of, I think, where the future is going to be going.
Well, and I appreciate the insight on that, because clearly you have a background in this stuff, so you have a farther field of vision, I would think, on where this has been and where it can go. So
it's changing every day. The entertainment business has changed tremendously in only the last 5 years. It wasn't so long ago that we were all buying DVDs, to play DVD players.
True.
And that business has just collapsed. A lot of those DVD companies have gone bankrupt, and there's just that whole entertainment source was a big source for the entertainment business, also a source for financing features, and that has just disappeared. And so now all of that's gone digital, and everything now is really, we're in clearly a digital universe when it comes to entertainment now. Everything is digital. Movies are digital. Everything now is being shot in 4K digital. So things are rapidly changing in the entertainment world.
So Earl, we're actually we're closing up on time here. What is your parting message? If you want to give a plug for the website, please feel free to do that as well.
Well, I'd love to have people come join us. Check out our service at ValorousTV.com or on Roku or Amazon Fire. And if you like what you see, you like what we're doing, please support us. Go to StartEngine.com, search for Valorous Media, and make an investment. I think it'll be worth your while. I think it's going to be a good investment. I think Valorous is going to do very well. Most importantly, we need more subscribers to support us, to support our team, and which, in fact, indeed supports our military, our firemen, our lifesavers, our police. It's a very important mission, and one that we feel very, very strong about and want to continue doing it for a long time.
Now, and again, for everybody listening, this is the channel. This is what we have been waiting for 2 decades. This is the real deal. So Earl Benjamin, President and CEO of Valorous Media, offering Valorous TV. Everybody go over there. Earl, thanks so much for coming on today.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Yes, sir. It was my pleasure. That'll do it for this episode of the Veterans Report. Until next time, I'm your host, Jim Cannon.
You've been listening to the Veterans Report. Let others know about the show. You can find us online at theveteransreport.com. If you'd like to contact us, send an email to editor@theveteransreport.com. Join us again at the same time for up-to-date veterans news and information. The Veterans Report. Thank you for your service, and carry on.
The Veterans Report has been sponsored by James Cannon.
Pittsburgh weather.
Periods of rain tonight, low near 40. The rain dying down, otherwise cloudy skies tomorrow, high 44. Cloudy tomorrow night, low 35. Then on Monday, mostly cloudy, colder, high 39. I'm Michael J. Daniels in the KHB Weather Center.
W271 CW Pittsburgh.
WKHB Irwin.
W222 CB Irwin. W231 BN Pittsburgh.
You're listening to Pittsburgh's favorites on 620.